Hey.
All right, let me know when we're ready. We're ready? Okay, welcome everyone. We are reconvening to open session at 6:04. Let's start with our flag salute. Please stand. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
All right. There was no report taken in closed session. Let's move on to adoption of the agenda with the changes of moving number 12 to discussion. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move to approve.
Second.
Reese and Angelo second. All in favor? Aye. Oppose? All right, motion carries. Adoption of the consent agenda, that is a motion item.
I motion to approve the consent agenda.
Trustee DeMarco, a motion. Can I-
Second.
Trustee Reese second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Moving on to recognitions and presentations. I was almost going to skip that one, Mr. Giles. I will welcome Echo Valley Elementary. What is that noise?
There's like two of us here today.
I'm like, what is that noise? Oh, really?
Yes.
What are we doing here then? Right.
Don, can we go to the main one? No. Please. All right. Hello, esteemed board members, board president, Superintendent Turkey, and community members. My name is Jacob Guile, and I'm the proud principal of the Echo Valley Elementary. I'm here with a diverse team of parents, students, teachers, and staff to present to you our school update. Each member of the team will introduce themselves before they present. On the screen, you can see the demographics of our amazing school on the hill. One specific highlight is that due to increased enrollment in TK, we are able to open, and we did open, a new transitional kinder classroom. So we got a whole bunch of little kids on our campus. It's great. As we look at LCAP 1, I'm happy to announce that we are at full staffing in our certificated positions. Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate that. You weren't paying attention. I'm joking. All right. And the only positions we have to fill are on the classified side, which are largely due to promotions from positions to another internal positions at the site. Our Dolphins are staying and we are growing. After reviewing data from site screeners, local assessments, and state tests, a significant need in the area of foundational reading has been consistently identified. As a result, we are adjusting our Tier 1 and Tier 2 supports across the site to effectively address this need. One specific strategy we are implementing is a coaching process to enhance our instructional methods. At the start of the school year, we discussed how coaching plays a vital role across many professions, not just in education. Even elite athletes and professional teams rely on coaches to refine their skills, reflect on performance, and helps those reach their highest potential. In the same spirit, every teacher at our site will be engaging in a coaching cycle. To make this possible, we're providing additional release times so that teachers can work directly with one of our MTSS assistants, TOSAs, to grow their practice. So we're giving intentional time throughout the school day, not after or additional meetings, but time within the school day for our teachers to grow and to improve their practice. These cycles are designed to offer targeted support, collaboration, and feedback, ensuring that every educator continues to grow and strengthen their practice, just as professionals in many other fields do. This is an additional means of addressing the foundational reading needs at Echo Valley. I would like to welcome one of our awesome MTSS TOSAs to talk about this process and data chats.
Good evening. My name is Bridget Perhatch, and I serve as an MTS TOSA at Echo Valley alongside Nicole Wall, who could not be with us this evening. This fall, we launched a coordinated MTSS system of support across all grade levels to make sure every student receives targeted literacy instruction and intervention. We started by holding data chats with each grade level team to look closely at our iReady and diagnostic reading assessment data. From those conversations, teachers set clear goals for student growth and began implementing daily foundational reading routines and align with those goals. Together, we also identified student-specific needs and selected Tier 2 intervention plans along with progress monitoring cycles over the next 6 to 8 weeks, and we started that this week. To support this work, we're using our MTSS assistants and our ELSA to provide the Tier 2 interventions in grades 1 through 4, giving students additional time and targeted support during the school day. We are also providing ongoing coaching and support to teams as they integrate these routines into their daily instruction. Thank you.
Thank you. As we continue to integrate the arts at Echo Valley, now we're talking about student engagement and connectedness. I'd like to highlight our Mural Legacy project, which took place at the end of last year and will be further implemented at Echo Valley, we hope, every year. So if you can please play the movie. It's not a movie, it's not super long, it's a short video, sorry.
You guys to come up with the idea, and then we'll first put it all together and make something handling together.
My name is Jacob Guyon. I'm the principal, I like to say, of the Echo Valley Elementary. It's transformed our school community. I like to say that it's a guiding light towards our instruction, community engagement, and how we operate as a school.
So you know how I had you help brainstorm a lot of different ideas? I took all of those ideas and I started to look for what kind of connected them or how I could make it all fit together so we could get as many of your ideas into a mural as possible.
The mural was a direct result of us looking at our California Healthy Kids survey data and seeing that our 6th grade students were not sensing a large amount of connectedness to the school. I think it's accomplishing the goal that we had for our students to feel an enduring connectedness to Echo Valley.
I do love making art at school. I just love working with my friends and creating like all these art things. A lot of the things I did was made with a friend. I made a jellyfish and a dolphin that I'm really proud of that we made together.
School without art would be pretty boring. You need to be creative at school. It took a long time, and when painting it, sometimes it had to be delayed since we were doing it in rainy season. But we eventually got it finished, and it looks great.
When we go to middle school, I feel like this would always be here forever.
We 6th graders painted this, so it kind of leaves our legacy into this. Not just this paint, but in our hearts. That this is what we painted. And even when we leave this school, it's still up here. It'll last forever.
Woo!
So we'd like to thank our facilities team, the Arts Council, and Turn On Arts for their support in completing that project. And we look to do many more. Another way that we are integrating the arts into our school is through our DJ club. If we can please play that video. It's short too. All right. I'd now like to present our student DJs to speak. You're not right there. Where are you? Come on up, Lauren.
Right.
Got you.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Lona Ashley Ignacio, and I am also known as DJ Cinnamon. I just want to say that I really like being a part of the DJ Club. It is fun, and it's something I'm totally different from what I usually get to do. Before this, I honestly wouldn't have even known where to start without DJing. I didn't know any of the tools, but here I've been able to earn hands-on, try out everything I never even thought I'd get to use. And I'm happy that I actually get to create something I'm proud of. It's something about learning a skill I probably wouldn't be able to have at otherwise I'd be making me feel confident and creative and learning how to do more. It gives me a space to express myself in my own way that is really meaningful to me. I am really glad I got to be able to have this great experience.
DJ Curly, it's your turn, my friend. Pew, pew, pew.
Hello. Oh, hello everyone. My name is Daniela Sanchez Rodriguez, aka DJ Curly. And today we're going to be talking about DJ Club. First of all, I'm so grateful for my principal, aka DJ Teach, for making this happen. Next, I'm so excited for our new group in DJ Club because I get to be a teacher for DJing. When I first started DJing, I was like, is this going to happen or is this a dream or something? But now I'm a pro at mixing. I love it so much. I never knew this was going to happen, but most of all, I am happy to be with all of y'all and all of you because you are amazing. You, especially my principals. But thank you so much.
It's a little dusty up in here, some dust in my eye. No, I would also like to say that DJ Cinnamon was at a wedding this weekend and she jumped on the decks and just started DJing. What? All right. So now, due to the awesome work of our student leadership leaders, Ms. Cervantes and Ms. Guzman, our student council representatives have been elected, and I'd like to invite them up to the podium to share. So should we start with our president? Yeah, I'll get the slides up for you. And then if we can get the other slides. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Jose Carrillo, known as the president of Echo Valley Elementary School. Today, I'll be talking about the student council elections and more. The process of the student council elections begins with filling out an application. The election progress, students who are interested in joining the student council have to fill out an application. After that, students who are running for a position have to make a speech and have to speak it on a Wednesday in the morning at Circle Up. Then some students made posters to advertise themselves. and over and there. And overall, there were 9 candidates running for positions: 2 presidents, 4 vice presidents, 2 secretaries, volunteers. The way the candidates were selected was by voting of 2 ways. Through TK through 2nd grade were voted by tally votes, and 3rd grade through 6th grade were by Google Docs. The winners were announced at October 3rd at the end of the time of a school day through speakers.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Christopher Prowse. The Student Council Office are Activity Director Sofia Gonzalez, Secretary Eileen Mojigue, Vice President Jose Carol, and President Christopher Prowse, which is me.
As being a member of the student council, it also comes with some expectations. First, we have leadership. We need leadership in student council members, as we need them to have wise decisions and to be flexible with other students' opinions. Then we also need them to be able to share ideas so we can make them feel heard, and it could also benefit us as the school and ourselves. The student council members are also in charge of helping plan out events so our students could feel for our students could feel heard and have fun here at Echo Valley Elementary School. Then we also have advertising events and activities. Student council advertise their events so kids and staff and parents could come over here and enjoy our events that we planned out, and we hope to see them more. We also enforce school expectations. In our school, we expectate some at our school, we also expect some positive behaviors, such as being safe, responsible, and respectful. We also have fundraising. We here at Echo Valley Elementary School, we have fundraising so we could plan more events and field trips for our students so they could have fun at the school. But at the same time, student council members are also school models, so they need to be respectful and be a school model for the entire school and also for the smaller students, since they look up to us. Student council members will also act as new student mentors, as we're going to show the people, new kids around the school, and how things work and how to act. Student council members will also be helping out teachers around the school if they need help around their work.
Things that are going well in Echo Valley School is our relationships between students and staff, clubs, DJ clubs, and also glow parties. But things we can work on in Echo Valley School is littering, leaving recess equipment out, bug bites on the field, cussing, and even bullying. And that's what is happening in Echo Valley School. Go Dolphins.
Good evening. My name is Carol Rubalcaba, and I am the president to the parent-teacher group, as well as administrative assistant at Echo Valley Elementary School. When I was first appointed to the position of president to PTG, I was under the impression that PTG was mostly about fundraising and organizing events. However, as I became more involved, I realized that the true purpose goes far beyond that. I made it my main goal to focus on encouraging open communication between families and staff and building a strong sense of community where everyone feels connected and valued. By creating opportunities for parents, teachers, and students to come together and share ideas, I've seen how collaboration can strengthen our school and make it a more supportive environment for everyone. My first PTG meeting reflected a disconnect where the room felt divided. Parents and staff often work separately and communication felt limited. Now that no longer happens at our PTG meetings because we've created an open, welcoming space where everyone's voice is heard and valued. By focusing on building relationships and strengthening communication, our meetings have become a place where ideas are shared freely and our sense of community continues to grow. Echo Valley Elementary PTG offers a variety of well-established annual fundraisers and school events, such as our turkey trot, our chocolate sales, and the Fall Festival. However, we also make it a priority to listen to the needs and the interests of our students and our families. In response, we have added new culturally rich and inclusive events that foster a strong sense of belonging with our school community. We now celebrate Dia de los Muertos, Dia del Niño, and we will be supporting a ballet folklorico program led by parent volunteers. Now, as the administrative assistant at Echo Valley Elementary, I want you to know that I recognize that parent involvement is a vital part of our schools or our students' success. However, some families feel hesitant to volunteer due to the fingerprinting process. For example, last year, a parent who wished to chaperone a field trip to the Sea Odyssey chose not to complete the process due to the fear of these trying times. However, this mother, wanting to experience her son's first boat trip, stood at the harbor and watched from a distance, celebrating his experience. Moments like this remind us how important it is to support families through the volunteer process and help them feel welcome to participate. In conclusion, this year we are off to a great start. PTG's most recent event of Stories of Strength and Culture gave our families the opportunity to hear the personal stories of local community members, such as my brothers. In addition, we had the honor of welcoming co-founder of the United Farm Workers, labor leader, community organizer, and civil rights activist Dolores Huerta. I leave you with her words from Tuesday night. La cultura cura. Never underestimate the power of ordinary people coming together to create change, porque sí se puede. Thank you.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Turkey, and community. My name is Cristal Santana, and I'm the mental health therapist at Echo Valley. One question I often ask students is, who are you? This is a question that is rarely asked. We're used to asking things like, what do you do, or what is your title? But identity runs deeper than that. It lives in our culture, our roots, and our lived experiences. Hispanic Heritage Month gives us a powerful opportunity to celebrate those identities and opens the door for conversations about mental health. The idea of la cultura cura, culture heals, reminds us that healing isn't just clinical. It happens through pride, connection, and community. It has been amazing to watch our students light up, seeing themselves reflected in the games we play in lunch, and the excitement they feel when we talk about trompos, salsa, and ganas. In those moments of recognition, we remind students that strength already lives within their culture. Too often, students feel like they can't be the same person at home and at school. But when we make spaces for cultural expression, we're helping bridge that gap. We're showing them that they don't have to choose between parts of themselves. They can be whole, proud, and fully seen. These moments also invite parent engagement. When we create space for culture, we're speaking a language, both literal and cultural, that families understand and when school and home come together with mutual respect. When students see both their culture and their families reflected and celebrated at school, their sense of belonging deepens. When families feel seen, they become more connected to the school community. That's mental health. That's healing. Through Hispanic Heritage Month, we're honoring history and affirming identity, nurturing emotional wellness, and building stronger, more inclusive communities. Gracias. I will now pass it on to la señora Berenice, an Echo Valley parent.
Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva. Mi nombre es Berenice Espinosa. Tengo 2 niños en la escuela Echo Valley. Estoy aquí para informarles de lo contenta que estoy de ser voluntaria. Por ejemplo, hemos estado hablando de la herencia hispana y planeando eventos. Es importante celebrar la herencia hispana porque nos recuerda nuestra fortaleza y nuestra maravillosa cultura. Nuestra meta es seguir creciendo nuestro grupo de padres y seguir escuchando lo que como padres nos gustaría ver en la escuela de nuestros hijos. Me emociona mucho ver el gran equipo que hemos formado entre padres y maestros, porque sé que juntos podemos lograr mucho más. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon, members of the board members. My name is Berenice Espinosa. I have 2 children at Echo Valley. I'm here to share that I'm very happy to be a volunteer. For example, we've been speaking about Hispanic heritage and planning events. It's very important that we celebrate Hispanic heritage because it reminds us of our fortaleza. Strength and our marvelous culture. Our goal is to continue growing our parent and teacher group and continue listening to what parents would like to see at the school for our children. I'm very happy to see the great group that has been formed between parents and teachers because together we can do much more.
Go to the next slide. Good evening, I'm Catherine Horton. I'm the assistant principal at Echo Valley Elementary, and I get the pleasure of sharing this slide that shares about our staff engagement and connectedness. We know that our staff is going to do their best work when they're feeling valued and heard, so we're putting lots of effort into that area as well. And we can see that through our California Healthy Kids survey, where we look at the student information, we look at the staff survey, we look at the parent survey. So I have some of that information to highlight for you. First, we have that 100% of our staff agrees or strongly agrees that Echo Valley is supportive and inviting, and it's a place where they trust and have colleagues. 97% of the staff felt a responsibility to improve Echo Valley Elementary. So Echo Valley, in order to do that, Echo Valley holds listening sessions. We have open door for questions, informal professional dialogue. If we see someone in the hallway, they might step into the office so that we can just have that immediate need taken care of. There's also numerous opportunities for collaboration and full circle communication. So if they're filling out a referral for assistance, then we make sure we respond to that so they know what we're doing in our cost meetings. So there's just that constant circle of communication with our staff. And then also acknowledging our staff strengths, making sure that they know what we appreciate, what we see, and acknowledge the hard work that they're doing. The CHICS data also showed that 70%, a little higher than 70% of our students report academic motivation, and 74% of our students believe in themselves. And I think it's because it's a lot of the amazing programs that our staff, our parents, and our community are doing with them that help them believe in themselves. The parents feel, 95% of our parents feel welcome to participate. 96% of our parents feel that Echo Valley promotes school success, and 100% feel that Echo Valley is supportive and inviting place for students to learn. And again, it's a shout out to the hard work that our Echo Valley community is doing to help our families and our staff and our students feel welcome and heard. One area that we're looking to improve, we want our bilingual materials to arrive on time so that our bilingual classes can start on time as the other classes do. Some of the materials were a little late. I don't think it was anyone's fault. It was an ordering issue, but we want to make sure that we get that ordered on time. We're still continuing looking at safety and needing for upgrades on our fencing, making sure that our campus is safe. And then as Carol shared, streamlining that volunteer system so we can get as many families on campus and on field trips as possible. And then we're looking forward to our math adoption as well. Last thing I'd like to share with you is we're working hard on our tier 3 supports for our students that need extra, that maybe need behavior tech with them, maybe need a little extra planning, a little extra behavior support. So we're working on those tier 3 systems as well with our students. And then I'd like to turn it over to our technology gurus.
Hi, good evening, members of the board and all of you, the admin, the children, the students. My name is Stacy Arista, and this is Kim Cohn, and we are both teachers at Echo Valley School. I teach 6th grade, and just want to say the president's in my room. And right there, and this is Miss Cohn, and she's teaching kinder. And we're here tonight because we want to share that we are among the few that are piloting the smart boards, the view boards. And so we just want to tell you how much it's transformed our classrooms. And we're also here to advocate for ensuring that every classroom in the district would have access to this incredible technology. Before we go into all of that, though, I feel like I kind of need to share my journey to the smart board. A little background about myself. I started at Echo Valley 25 years ago, and I was here when teachers were given their very first laptop. I was also here when we were all given, we were promoted from the overhead projectors to the black projectors that we shine onto our boards. So obviously the projectors helped, have been a staple in our lives for many years. They helped us share notes and slides and videos with our students over the years. In 2012, 13 years ago, I left the district for a little bit to work closer to home in Santa Cruz. And the district that I moved into, technology had already arrived there. They were already engaged in 21st century learning. They had Promethean boards in every class, and all the kids had computers. So when COVID hit, we were like, it wasn't a big deal for as other districts may have been, because it was just a pretty smooth transition because we were already well versed in the technology. Teachers were kind of thrown into it. No matter what, you were thrown into the digital world at that point. So it really advanced us forward. So now I'm back. My son is grown, and I feel like I've come home. I see a lot of familiar faces, Echo Valley, the staff, but also still there are those black projectors. They are still there. So I can't tell you how thrilled I was to be one of the one of the teachers that got to use the board, or have the board in my classroom, the smart board. And thank you to Brianna. I mean, she's forward thinking and bringing all the stuff that comes with that, and the support from the IT and for the board, and, just all the support that we've had around that. But as the district and education evolves, so do the tools, or so must the tools. And so the smart board is one of those tools. It's not just a fancy screen for the kids to watch. It's really a dynamic, interactive learning tool that brings lessons to life, and it really engages the students in way more ways than the projector can.
For us teachers, the Smartboard really streamlines and enhances our lessons and brings digital multimedia platforms into our lessons. We can easily import PDFs and our Google Drive and Google Slides and videos. And the touch screen, the digital whiteboard has all these wonderful little tools in there, and we can save what we've created in that space to use year after year. For the sixth graders and her kindergartners, which is, a wide range of an age gap, they all are very curious and tech savvy, even those kinders. And they're really excited about the Smartboard. They're not just watching, they're actually engaging and creating and collaborating and retaining what they're learning, whether they're exploring math concepts with virtual manipulatives or they're annotating text in language arts. They're taking virtual field trips in science and social studies. So the Smartboard really turns abstract ideas into hands-on experiences. So students are really focused and motivated, and it also allows us to meet their diverse learning needs. We can easily differentiate our instruction and integrate multimedia resources. We can zoom in and create larger text if they need that. We can use color overlays for our visual learners. We can replay audio for our English language learners. And every child has an opportunity to participate, whether they go up and interact with the board or they can do screen share from their computer. So we're interacting and they're collaborating with us as well. So in short, the Smartboards in every classroom would be amazing. It would empower teachers to advance their teaching into the digital world in 21st century. And it would definitely help our students because that's where their brains are and they're responding to it. We've seen firsthand how powerful the boards are for them. So we hope that we can continue expanding the opportunity to others in the district. And we really can't thank you enough for bringing them this year and for also the Chromebooks and, all the apps and the things that are coming. Plus the IT support is amazing. So we just appreciate your commitment to helping with advance all of us into the 21st century learning. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, I know we're on TikTok, so if we can go to the next slide, we just want to highlight our classified staff. We have an amazing front office staff that welcomes, helps, supports, will always step out to help whenever somebody needs a hand, whether it's me calling a parent if I need some help in Spanish, or if it's a parent coming in that needs to register their student. So they're always willing to help. Lorena, I know you're on Zoom, so shout out to you as well. And Carol, thank you so much. Our front office is amazing, responsive, and caring, and we see it every single day, and we see it with our students as well when they come into the office. If we could go to the next slide, our certificated staff. Ms. Wall is at a PBIS conference right now, so we have Ms. Perhatch here with us. They are prioritizing foundational reading and math fluency. They're in classrooms consistently. They're meeting with Mr. Guile and myself weekly so that we can all stay on the same page, and we couldn't do the work without them. So thank you to our certificated and classified highlights. I think that's it.
We're open for any questions. And from 7:55 to about 2:30 in the school day.
All right. I'm gonna open it up for any public comment. Zoom. All right, closing public comment and now for the trustees, Trustee Reese,
Is questions or
questions
comments?
and comments.
Both?
Yeah,
Either
go
one.
for it.
We're ready to.
You touched on simplifying the volunteering process. Could you touch on that or explain please further?
Please correct me if I'm wrong at any point in this, Carol. Thank you. So at this point, the way that volunteers are processed through our office, and which I understand is the district kind of example, is parents will fill out a volunteer form. I will sign the volunteer form. Either before or during or after that, parents go get a TB test. So they have to go wait 48 hours, get it read. And then after that, they go to the district and get another form. And they take that form to another fingerprinting place. And then they go back with that and the form. And then HR will clear them. Did I miss anything?
You have to go to Salinas to get your
Yeah, I
prints done.
Yeah.
did we vote to change that?
No,
We didn't vote to change that?
No.
We voted against it?
it was tabled
Oh, okay.
and it will be, it's pending more information and hopefully we'll be coming back to the board with it soon.
That's great.
Yep.
Our
Yep.
volunteer process, because parents are part of our success.
Yep.
So thank you for the wonderful presentation. I mean, I was so impressed with DJ Curley, DJ Cinnamon, Jose, school president, I'm sorry, student council president, and then Christopher, was it vice president?
No, I'm vice president, he's president.
Okay, I'm sorry, I got that mixed up, but thank you so much for walking me through the election process. Gives me great faith in our future, knowing we have such wonderful leaders. Thank you for your presentation to the board, really appreciated it. Carol, I want to commend you. You work there and then you're still, president for the parent teacher group. Yeah, thank you. Because parents are the secret sauce to success. We must do it all together. So thank you for supporting the school district on your personal time. And I welcome back, Stacy, to the district. I couldn't agree more that we do need to come into the 21st century. And we have our prize IT leader to lead the way. So really echo what you said, that it's time for us to give our kids tools to be successful. I'm so very happy that you're working on that. And just, you're all phenomenal. So thank you so much for the presentation and for the good work you're doing. So thank you.
Awesome. Trustee Diaz.
Thank you for the wonderful presentation. I always look forward to each school's presentation. Thank you, kids, for students for coming out. It's always the best out of everything to see the students come out and show us and us go there and observe you guys and just really appreciative of all the students that came and spoke. I'm so proud of you guys and thank you staff and Mr. Guile and Ms. Horton for everything that you do. Commendations. Thank you.
All right. Trustee DeMarco.
So, sure. I just want to make sure he's on camera. So, so I really want to acknowledge, the leadership that you guys have shown at Echo Valley and the team that you guys built. You can tell that it's making a difference. I've only been on the board for 2 years, but I'm starting for the first time being approached by parents who live outside the district, two neighboring districts that have asked me about the process of doing an inter-district transfer to Echo Valley. Honestly, that's the first time I've heard that if someone wanted to come from outside in a long time. So that shows you the transformative process that's going on there. And yes, I did recognize I gave him Dr. Turkey's. I want to acknowledge Dr. Turkey also because you've been pretty awesome with letting parents choose the best course for their children if they want to come in or if they want to go out. And that says a lot. I want to acknowledge just all this work that's going on. And it's just exciting to hear that it's not just our district, it's outside people are hearing what's going on at Echo Valley. And they made a beeline to me. Just hoping that I can give them resources on how to attend your school. I just kept it simple because I know you guys are having a traffic problem right now. I don't want to add to that. But it's something you guys really need to understand. Like everyone is seeing it. You guys have done a great job, the whole team. This is a team effort. It's just very impressive to see what you guys are doing. It speaks volumes about the work that's being done. And hopefully we can try to write down the magic sauce that's going on there so we can replicate it. But outstanding to everybody. Just thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustees, for just bringing up all the great things. I'm not going to duplicate that because they know that Echo Valley is close to my heart. as alumni and, obviously Stacy, I've known you for a long time. But you know what? All I can say I know you guys. Is it loud? I got in trouble because I don't talk in the mic, so they gave me one of these. So not that I'm being special, it's just that I think I got in trouble. So I think you guys can hear me now, right? But anyways, it has evolved to such a beautiful thing. The Arts Turnaround Program, I remember when you guys got awarded that, that was a huge accomplishment. And you walk onto that campus and you could just feel the pride with those murals. It's just a beautiful thing to see. And I love the way the students said that's the legacy that they're leaving behind. And I love seeing that. And I do love the energy and the positive energy every time I go there. And it is based off the leadership, the leadership and the team and everyone that's there, you could feel it. We bragged about how you were the only one that didn't need to hire anybody this year, right? And it was because they love working there. That environment and that culture is huge, from teachers, parents, staff, everybody involved, right? And students. So thank you for that. I will say that I had the honor to come by on Tuesday. I wanted to get the itinerary to see if I could at least come by for a little bit for the obviously the event that you had, the cultural event that you had. But because I had the ethnic studies workshop, I felt I really needed to go to. But I just want to say, when I went in there to get the copy of the itinerary, I was speaking to Carol. I said, Carol, how did you get Dolores Huerta to come? I mean, that is history in the making. So, Carol, thank you for that. I understand that you are the one that reached out to several people. You reached out. Share your story on what happened when you were emailing her.
I think the one thing we all need to remember, as whether it be staff or parents, when we're working with kids or if we have kids, is that all children dream, right? They all have a dream. And it's our responsibility to let them know that dreams can come true, right? Everything is possible. Si se puede, right? And I was made the comment when we were brainstorming with Ms. Santana that we were dreaming too big, because we invited Leon Panetta, we invited Dolores Huerta. We had like this long list of people that we thought would make an impact, right, on our students. And I told them exactly that. We have to dream big and let the kids know that there's nothing wrong with that. And the worst they can say is no. And we were turned down every single time, including the foundation from Dolores Huerta. But we received a call back on Tuesday. And it was expressed to us, or to me, that when she read my email, my reply back after being denied, she said, "This is my community and that's where I need to be."
Beautiful.
So we got her.
You made it happen, you guys. Thank you. So I just appreciate that. That's history in the making, and I was so impressed. And last but not least, I also got to take a tour because I was really interested on this pilot. So Stacy, you showed me how that smart board worked, and I was just blown away. I was blown away. I mean, you already shared all the benefits and everything, but when you see it firsthand, they had it at Ryan's? Okay. Well, anyways, I was real impressed. I was real impressed because I compared it to, my granddaughter goes there, and I went to the open house, and, she didn't even have that little thing you slide down, right? She had to use she had to use the board. You couldn't even see it. You can't even read it. And I thought to myself, is this what the kids see every day? So that was huge for me. It's like, we got to get up to times. We're behind.
Yes.
So when I got to see that firsthand, I was curious, and boy, everything that you added to it, I saw it firsthand. So thank you for sharing that, all that detailed information behind it.
Yeah, it was very fortunate you happened by.
Just happened to come by, and I thought, why not? I want to see it.
Yeah.
So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
So other than that, you guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you all.
Dr. Turkey, would you like any words?
Yeah, a couple of things. So first of all, shout out to everybody, right? The thing which I want to shout out specifically, though, because it helps us with systemness, okay, is in your what needs improvement. You mentioned some things which are internal to you as a school, but you also mentioned things which are for us as a district to improve. We need our schools to tell us and to prod us, in the right directions, because our role at the district is to make it so that your schools run better. So thank you for coming to us and saying, hey, this is what we need to make our schools run better. You're there at the ground level, right? That's where it happens, in the schools and the classrooms. So coming to us and saying, this is what we need, helps. So that's what helps with our systemness. So thank you for doing that. Thank you. And for anybody who didn't know, just by the way, number 4 on tonight's agenda is the adoption of view boards across the entire district. So just in case anybody didn't know that. Okay.
All right. And we're gonna get to there. Thank you. I would say there's nothing more that I could say that you all are awesome, and I really like the way that you actually integrate every aspect of how school should run with students, parents, teachers, community. That's what makes a true school. And that's why everyone is loving your school. I got to be there on Tuesday, and there was parents from outside our district coming because they heard of the event. They heard, and these parents were homeschooling their children because in the school district that they attended, their children were being punished for speaking Spanish. And so when they came and they saw the incorporation of identity and culture and the celebration of our students, they were completely impressed and were really happy to see that there's schools out there that are looking at the identities of our students and making our students feel welcome. And that's why you have attendance go up, and that's why you have all these things function, right? So I applaud you all for doing that. And DJs, I'm gonna quit my job. I already told Mr. Giles that I'm gonna quit my job because my dream career is to be a DJ. So I'm gonna probably go to your club and try to learn before I quit my job.
You
So
have the MCing part down.
yeah, so I'm gonna try to do that. So I really appreciate it, and that, like, just seeing the students be part of saying what's working, what's not working. Again, for me, centering students' voices has always been number one, and because the rest trickles down. If our students can tell us what is going on, the rest can tell us what's going on, and we should be centering our students' voices to make a better school, a better place for them, because they're our future. So thank you, and again, you're rocking it, and continue, because that's what we need. And like Angelo said, let's duplicate in other spaces. It's needed. So thank you all. And Mr. Giles did warn me that he was going to bring an entire group of awesome people. All right, let's move on to public comment on non-agenda matters. Is there any public comment on non-agenda matters? Zoom? No. All right, closing public comment. And I'll move on to board reports, and I'll start with Trustee Diaz.
None this week.
Trustee Reese. Trustee DeMarco.
Nothing to report.
All right. Trustee Chavarria.
Attending the Ethnic Studies Advisory Committee on Tuesday night, boy, I was so impressed. I was wowed. We had a lot of student voices, which was powerful. We had parents, we had obviously staff. It was a good turnout. This is why I didn't make it over there to Echo Valley School, because it was going so well. And my plan was just to go for a little bit. But I felt it was important to go and advocate for that, because you all know how I feel about ethnic studies. And this is where you learn, and this is where you hear, and this was a recommendation, so I wanted to be there. And it was powerful because not only did the student voices talk about how it has been so inclusive and engaging and how much they've learned, and students were even saying that this class is so much better in compared to other classes. But we walked away, I will say, Mr. Garcia, you did a really good job, Antonio, in the presentation and getting everyone engaged on, what's working, what's not working, your typical thing that you guys usually do. And there wasn't a lot of things that didn't really hear no challenges, right? But we did all walk away. Every parent and every student got to share, like, what did they learn, from there. And one of the things that I was real impressed that along everybody sharing the student voices and the feedback was right on. But Miss Barrera was very prepared with her binder and showing samples and exercises of what the kids are doing in their curriculum. And that was impressive, on seeing how detailed work and how much, and these kids' assignments that they're completing. And it was powerful. So thank you for putting that together. You did a great job. Went last night to the facilities committee. Rick and myself attended. And, the guy, the feasibility, the consultant that's doing the feasibility, he gave like a quick overview, no presentation or something like that. What I was impressed with more was the actual current projects slide that they were talking about. So there were some new things that I learned there. Obviously the cameras all over campuses, thank you for that. I hear that's doing really well. The clocks, those are things that they've been working together on all the campuses. Is working really well. So obviously they gave, the collaboration with your team, how powerful that's been to be able to complete these projects. And obviously the EV buses that are coming in, they talked about the infrastructure to put something like that in place. And, the challenges in making sure that the ditches and the lines and all that are going to be prepared for future buses. And, we've all voted on how to surplus the old ones because when they bring a new one in, they got to surplus the other ones. And we all voted that, right? And then the water treatment, that was, real important update because for years I've heard about the Echo Valley's water is not good and Elkhorn. So they got this agreement now, this grant through the state to support them to bring this system in to help clean up the water. And just that project alone is huge. They talked about obviously the entry projects. We all know about that and the 2 phases that we need, the shade structures and then the entrance of the football field. It looks like it's finally going to come to an end. I know we all been waiting patiently, so it's coming together. And then the batting cages, that's something that they're working on, which is great because they're getting the input from the athletic team and the teachers and prioritizing that stuff. So I just felt it was important to kind of share that update, from facilities. And I felt like they were working hard and trying to get these things done and working collaboratively. And yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Thank you.
So that is my update.
Right. Thank you. And I don't have any report and I'll move on to superintendent's report.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so like many other people, on Tuesday evening, I was at the Echo Valley for their Stories of Strength and Culture. And I believe there was something like, 270 people, were there. So it was very well attended. Obviously, the star of the show where there was Dolores Huerta at 95 years old and so sharp, such acumen, and fighting still for people's rights, fighting still for farmers' rights, the rights of people here, all people, and really, a light for us. And also what was so special is obviously so meaningful for so many people. It really was. So a very special evening. Next slide, please. Okay, so a different kind of evening was the LCAP committee. No Dolores Huerta there. But it was still, it was certainly a good evening. We got input from parents and community around LCAP goals. And it was run with different small groups, some input, that sort of thing. And it will continue on a quarterly basis. That input does then go back to our leadership teams. Okay, and that's how we kind of incorporate the feedback from the community there. Next slide, please. Okay, so our next dinner with the superintendent is coming up next Wednesday, October the 15th. It's going to be here upstairs in the library, and the focus is going to be on math. Okay, we've heard loud and clear that the math curriculum in our elementary schools is old, is not good. And we know we need to go through a curriculum adoption. And we'll be going through that curriculum adoption starting in November. Now, that's kind of late to start a curriculum adoption. And the reason we're starting in November is because that's when the state releases its list of these are the approved curriculum which you can choose from. Okay, so that's why we're starting in November. So we're going to go through what that selection and what that process looks like, and we're also going to talk about the new math framework. So every few years, about every 10 years, something like that, the state comes out with a framework for each of our subject areas, which tells us, the educators, the how of teaching the standards, which is the what. So the framework is really the how. And so we want to go through the basics of the framework so that our parents community can see what that looks like and also see, gosh, what is it that our parents and community could do to help their students with math at home? That type of thing. Next slide, please. Oh, sorry, still with the dinner with the superintendent, there will be translation, obviously dinner, right? And so, yeah, please come. Next slide, please. So we have our Health and Wellness Resource Fair. This is for our staff members. That's going to be on Monday, November the 3rd. And it's here at the high school from 3 to 7 p.m. So all of our staff, please come to our Health and Wellness Fair and see what all of the resources are which are available to us. And next slide, please. Okay, so I'd like now to use this opportunity to announce a Wallace Foundation grant. And this was just released a couple of days ago. And Monterey County is one of 10 counties throughout the entire country, which is being awarded this grant. Now, this grant is a multi-year grant aimed at young people starting off in middle school, going through high school, around what are the opportunities available to them. Now, within Monterey County, there are two areas where these, which are basically benefiting from this. One is Greenfield down in South County, and the other is us right here. And so we're going to start going into a planning phase, but this is a big deal for us, multi-million dollars coming through to help our students with opportunities. Next slide, please. Okay, so staff spotlights. Today's staff spotlight for our certificated staff is going to Jocelyn Barrera. So Jocelyn, over the summer, in England we say she worked a little socks off, right? She worked a little socks off while she was on vacation in Mexico on the ethnic studies curriculum. And now she's teaching the ethnic studies curriculum. And because of her efforts, how many ninth grade students, Antonio, do you think were out at the, or Martha, were out at the ethnic studies curriculum?
How many what?
How many students were there?
Wow, there must have been 10.
Okay. 7 to 10 students from the freshman class who came to advocate. And some seniors went too, who came to advocate and give their opinion around shaping what's going to happen within that class. And, you know, it's a lot of that is down to Jocelyn and the way she's empowering our students. So shout out to Jocelyn Barrera. Yay. Our next shout out is to Ray Torres. Yeah. Ray. And so I want to give a few reasons why this shout out is going to Ray. Okay. So first of all, I just want an example. It must have been about a week and a half ago. I got a phone call. I think it was sometime before 6 a.m. and it was from Mr. Giles. Mr. Giles said, Mr. Tucker, we've got a problem, right? We've got a problem. There's no water here at Echo. I think we might have to close schools. Okay. But then Mr. Giles found the magic button, the bat phone, and the bat call went out. I'm going to call it the Ray call. This Zoom went up into the sky and it called Ray Torres. Okay. Ray got into his truck. He drove over to Echo Valley, right? And then before you know it, the water is flowing. Okay. And kids came to school and everything was okay. However, it wouldn't have been okay if it hadn't been for Ray. And this is one of multiple occasions which I know of personally where Ray has come out and saved the day. Okay, so not only has Ray going in, doing his normal, his kind of his 9 to 5 job, right? He's also there to save the day when we need him. So Ray, this is for you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Ray, I don't know if you'd be willing to come say a couple of words.
Go, Ray.
Thank you. Just doing my job. Love what I do, so I take pride in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ray, we appreciate you. The kids appreciate you. It makes a huge difference. Thank you again.
Thank you.
You've gone above and beyond for many years. So thank you, Ray. Appreciate you.
We'll have to negotiate that.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Matt. And I just want to say my daughter is taking a Chicano studies class freshman year in college. And her roommates have already taken a high school class on ethnic studies. And she was pretty mad that our high school was not at that level. But I told her that this year they were. So I'm so glad to hear that ethnic study stuff is going well. Let's move on to our classified report. Do we have anyone? Yep. All right. Teachers Federation. No report. Okay. Moving on to our discussion items. And the first one is number 12. Approve participation of North Monterey County staff to attend National Equity Project Conference. Matt, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so this is for myself and Antonio and a site administrator from each of our schools to attend this conference. It is a 2-day conference in Oakland, California, run by a group called the National Equity Project. And the reason it's the site administrators, mostly principals, and myself and Antonio, is myself and Antonio oversee the schools and help coach school principals. And school principals are on the front line of creating change. Now, anyone who's been in a leadership role for a short while very soon discovers a couple of things. The first thing they discover is you might be in charge, but you're not in control. The second thing you discover pretty quickly is telling people what to do doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And then you find yourself in this leadership position. You're like, oh, so hold on. The person who's responsible for making change here is me. I'm in charge, but I'm not in control. And telling people what to do simply doesn't work because they just ignore me. And I might be wrong. And so if you break down change to its kind of like natural elements, right? As a technical part of change, which is these are the technical things which you need to do. Okay. And you can learn that from reading a book. It's not too difficult. And then you've got the human side of change, okay, which is relational, which is cultural, which is all of those things. And then you drop yourself inside a school, which has got its own culture, which is moving and shifting, right? The culture of North County today is actually different than it was a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And in 10 months' time, it will be different again because it's constantly moving and constantly shifting. And it's beneath the water. You can't see it. It's in people's interactions. Okay, it's in the unwritten rules about how things work within schools. Now, an inexperienced leader would just come in and then tell people what to do, and they would fail. They would fail. The reason which we want to go to this conference is because if we want our principals to make real change, we actually have to train them about how to do that. These are not simple things to do. They are very complex. The principals in the audience are nodding their heads over here. Okay. And I want to give so you have this thing around kind of technical and human, relational, cultural, and this swims in a sea of complexity. And I want to give you a example of a complex thing where we think we've got a solution. Okay. This is a example straight from education. In the 1990s in education, we saw, hey, student behavior is an issue. And so the folks in power at the time said, I know, let's go for zero tolerance. Let's go for zero tolerance. That'll fix it. It didn't fix it. What happened is that minor infractions, which would usually happen at the school level, were fixed by police officers. What happened was that the most vulnerable students were the ones who got kicked out of school. This includes more students of color, more special education students. What happened then when they were kicked out of school is they got less education and they got into more trouble. What actually then happened at the schools itself is that schools didn't feel safer to students. Instead, there was distrust in between students and adults, not what we have going at Echo Valley. So unintended consequences are a big deal, and they happen all the time because we don't appreciate the complexity of systems. So going to a conference like this helps us appreciate the complexity of systems, helps us think about how, when I go about this change, who should I be talking to? Whose perspectives are not in the room? Should I be talking to parents? Should I be talking to students? What's their perspective of how this could go wrong? Because we all have our blinkers and we all have our blind spots. But again, doing this isn't easy. It's complex work. And principals need help with that complex work. We as their principal supervisors need help with that complex work. And that is the reason why I'm advocating for us to go to the National Equity Project to learn about how to go about change.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Turkey. I'll open it for the board for any clarifying questions and then public comment. Trustee Diaz, any questions? No? Trustee Reese?
I just want to say thank you for that thorough explanation. Would you answer why this conference over others? What attracted you?
Yeah, it's because I've had experience with them before, and their professional learning has been more impactful to me as a leader than other professional learnings which I've been to.
Thank you.
Trustee DeMarco?
So, to be transparent, so I talked to the president of the board about this class because I saw a disconnect of how this training affects our strategy in a positive way, meaning like, I was hoping you could help me out to say it in a good way. It's like, I didn't realize that we were making change already in our DEI, what was the word we used? You were educating me a lot on this. It was, like our our graduation requirements, our CTE, what's the other one that we worked on? We worked how this all aligns, dual enrollment, how this all aligns into the training that you're going to, and how this impacts our strategy. I saw that we were doing this, but I never put two and two together that this was also aligned with our vision and our goals. And can you like clarify for those like myself who missed it earlier until she educated me on this part, like, oh, this training raises the bar by helping us with strategies that we've been doing so far and what we can get out of it to help us educate people who are a little bit more ignorant the way I was.
Sure. So again, if we look at our results, we can see that the system's showing up differently for different kids. Right? So we see that there's gaps. So for example, our English learners, our students with disabilities are not doing so well, right? And then it's like, how do we make that better, right? Even if you look at kind of like our CTE courses and think, okay, our CTE courses before, they weren't A through G. And in certain CTE courses, there was like 95% boys. And it was split into this kind of like, you're either going to college or you're going for a career. And then there are certain CTE courses where it'd be like, you're going for a career, not college. From us changing that course and all of those CTE courses to be A through G, Now those kids in that CTE course, okay, they're getting college credit same as anybody else. All right. And so the way which this plays out kind of by different student groups is about equity. So you take that class, which is 95% boys, right, who may not have seen themselves going to college, but now they're getting a college prep course. Okay. So that's going about the work. Yeah.
So it's finding alternatives to different styles of educating.
Different styles of educating, and just as a leader, how do you go about that change process with people? And also, how do you get input? Because you might be wrong. Okay, people may not like it if I say this. However, right?
Say it.
We don't always know the right answers. We don't, right? There's a saying within improvement circles, which is possibly wrong, definitely incomplete. And all of our solutions are possibly wrong and definitely incomplete, right? If you want to know a fool is somebody who comes up and says, this is definitely going to work. It's 100% the entire answer. No, it's not. Right? People don't generally like a superintendent to say that, but it's the truth. Right? And so appreciating that kind of complexity, being open to being wrong, right? Being open to other perspectives is actually pretty powerful.
Thank you for saying that. 'Cause, that I've noticed here on the board for the past few years, it's easy to have an outcome in your head of what you want. That journey is very difficult to try to figure out something that's going to stick, something that's going to work. Not getting it right the first time and being okay with it.
Yes, not getting it right the first time and then being like, okay, you iterate, right? As in like, okay, well, maybe you change it a little bit. Maybe you change it a little bit.
So thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for asking.
All right. Trustee Chavarria, any clarifying questions?
No, I'm just going to, obviously you've done your research and then you came to us with that expertise background in equity. So I appreciate you being thorough and asking these, sharing us what this all about and that lens. And did you say that it is all the administrators from every site?
No, because there'll be no one left in the schools.
I was gonna say, that's why I thought I heard you say that. I'm like,
No, it's one administrator from each school site, and then myself and Antonio.
one administrator from each school.
So, and
you determine who that's gonna be.
the principal gets right of first refusal. So it's like if the principal doesn't want to go, then they could offer it up to their assistant principal.
Gotcha, but it's one of the two.
Yeah.
Okay. No, thank you though. And I trust, again, we've talked about the way we're evolving today and going to this type of national conference and learning among others is important to bring that change. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I just want to clarify that with my second language, I insulted Trustee DeMarco by explaining this because I translated in a way that didn't make sense to him until he told me like, that doesn't make sense to me. You are insulting me right now. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, connect the dots. And he's like, oh, that's different. So talk about equity, right? Talk about equity. So I'm really happy. There's no clarifying questions for me. I think you actually explained it pretty well. And there's always a need for continuing learning and continuing to try things. And you just put it really clear. It's easy to be in charge, but you're not in control. I think that that's something that it's easily overseen. So thank you for putting it that way. So with that, I'll open it for any public comment. Zoom. All right, closing public comment, opening for any comments, last comments or discussions. Trustee Diaz. All right, Trustee Reese, Trustee DeMarco, Trustee Chavarria. All right, this is an item to approve.
I motion to approve.
Second. All right, first Trustee Chavarria, second DeMarco. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Have a great conference.
Thank you.
Bring us a report. All right.
Will do.
Next item up is adoption of resolution number 2025-2606, proclaiming October as the week of the school administrator, talking about administrators.
Well, this is a perfect segue, actually. The work of school administrators is really hard. Because as we just said, you're in charge, but you're not in control. A bunch of stuff happens all the time, right? And so, this is to recognize the hard work and the dedication of administrators across the entire district. Whether you're at a school site, whether you're at the district, you're still dealing with complex change issues. Okay, so keep on fighting the good fight. Keep on working the good work. We all know that we're here for a long time. Okay, but it's work which we enjoy, and it's work which is worthwhile, and it makes a difference to our families and our students. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
Board, is there any clarifying questions before I decide to open it to the public? All right, opening it for any public comment. Sue? Man, you are being very quiet today. Sue? All right, closing public comment. All right, any final comments, Trustee Diaz?
Just recognizing you guys is great. It's something we very much appreciated, and thank you for all you do.
Trustee Reese?
Just, thanking administrators. I know sometimes they can get a bad rap because they are trying to make tough decisions that sometimes are unpopular, but their leadership, hopefully support, is transformative for the district and vision. So thank you for doing sometimes unpopular, tough jobs, because it's needed. It really is all of us working together to deliver quality education to our students, and they deserve nothing less. So thank you for the integral role that you play in that process.
All right, Trustee Marco?
Yeah, I just want to offer my appreciations for the hard work. It's easy to criticize, but it's hard to step up. Being put in a leadership role, you look at the big picture, and sometimes it's difficult, but I appreciate everyone willing to step up and do what's right. And we just keep, making the changes.
All right, Trustee Chavarria?
No, thank you. I mean, just thinking about those leadership roles, and a site leader is just such a huge responsibility, and just kudos to everyone that really contributes a lot to make sure that our schools are safe and our teachers are taken care of and our #1 students are getting what they need. So thank you, administrators, for just, guiding that ship. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Turkey, any? All right. I would just say, yes, everyone thinks you all get the glory because you're leading and in charge and everything, but you also get the blame from everyone, from parents, community, teachers, students, everyone. At the end of the day, it's a big responsibility, and but I believe we have amazing administrators right now, and we're creating the change that we want to see, and you're centering all the voices. So thank you so much, and we appreciate all the hard work that all of our administrators are doing in this district. Very well deserved space, and also there's not enough things or money that can really we could give you to, because of all the responsibilities you have and all the work that you have. So thank you so much. Is this an item to approve?
I motion to approve resolution 2025 proclaiming October 13th to 17th, the week of school administrators.
All right. Do I have a second?
Yes.
All right. Approved by Trustee Chavarria and second by Trustee Reese. All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. All right. Awesome. Moving on to approve the proclamation in recognition of National School Lunch Week. Sandra, now yes, it's your turn now.
I was just so excited to come up here and talk about my student. Hello, board and community members. Thank you for having me here tonight. This is just a very sweet moment for our National School Lunch Program, which is a federal program. And this is kind of the month of that since the 1960s has been declared as the National School Lunch week. And so this week, what we'll be doing every year, the SNA, which is the School Nutrition Association, they kind of come up with a cute little theme. And so we'll be embracing that, which is this year, Taste the World Through Your School Culinary Passport. This is geared a little bit more to our younger grades, so we will be celebrating this more heavily at our elementary school sites. So next week, October 13th through 17th, we'll be serving globally diverse vegetable sides to accompany our entrees. So on Tuesday, we're going to be doing an elote salad to go with our Mexican inspired entree that day. On Wednesday, it will be a curtido, which is like a cabbage slaw, which is your like traditional El Salvadorian accompaniment for pupusas. Thursday, we're actually doing a mustard tasting. That's our take on a German thing that we think we might go over well with the students to go with a pretzel dog. And then on Friday, we'll be serving eggplant parmesan with pizza. So pizza, I know the kids are going to love, and we will try to get as many as we can to also try the eggplant parmesan to embrace kind of like an Italian theme. And then we also are celebrating this month National School. It's a Farm to School Month. And so our department is very supportive of our local farming community, and we continue to do that all year. And again, this is just a moment to kind of have a special shout out and talk about the importance of that. So throughout the month, we'll be featuring different local and organic farm produce. This is a great month to do that, is here in California. You know, we're so fortunate to have a really robust bounty, and this goes very much in alignment. I'm so happy that this tied in with Dolores Huerta's visit to our school. I know that wasn't intentional, but a lot of the work that we're doing, focusing on kind of the procurement side of things, is really to ensure that we're sourcing as responsibly as possible and channeling and funneling our school dollars into supporting the local economy and then farmers that are well paid.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And any questions?
Thank you. I'm opening board. Any questions? All right. Opening for any public comment. You are so quiet. Zoom. All right. Closing public comment and any final comments, Trustee Diaz.
Thank you. You're, you know how much we, how much we know you're doing a good job and making our district proud and so we're being recognized and a role model for other districts. So thank you for all your hard work with to you and your team.
Thank you.
Trustee Reese.
I just want to say thank you for bringing exciting dishes to students for them to try and expand their palate. My son sent me a picture and I thought it was from Jamba Juice. It was the acai bowl.
Oh, yes, yeah. The mixed
And
berry
so
smoothie
I'm
bowl.
so impressed.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for bringing creative dishes to students and to your team that creates that culture of care that supports the whole student. So thank you for that.
Trustee DeMarco.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to your team for all the hard work you do. Recently, like I said, I'll just share a personal story. My wife working photography gigs. I have to feed my boys. And they are picky and hard to deal with. That's just two. I cannot imagine the high numbers of trying to choose fun dishes for kids who are set in their ways and to get them to explore, something different with their palates. So, I mean, and I'm blowing steam out of my ears just with two. I mean, how many students are you feeding in this district?
Well, we have over 4,000 students in our district, so we're trying to feed each and every single one of them. But yes, they get to choose if they want to eat cafeteria.
To be thinking at that large number, trying to bring something new and healthy and delicious to such a large number of very picky customers is very admirable. So thank you for all your hard work.
Right, Trustee Chavarria.
Yeah, our nutritional program has evolved to some amazing things, and thank you for your leadership, and I hear nothing but great things with your team too. They love working, your guys' dynamics are just pretty powerful. And I think that kind of expands in the food that they provide with the love and the care. So thank you for that. And I really love the farm to school month. That partnership and that bridge is huge. Everything that you said that it's supporting, because we live in this rich culture of agriculture and you're supporting that. So thank you.
Awesome. Dr. Turkey?
Yeah, thank you to you and the team for producing real food.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting each time somebody new comes to our district and they eat foods here. I'm actually looking over Ireri over there. Okay. She was like, oh my goodness, the food here is so good. And this is produced by your nutrition department. Right. People can't believe it. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you all.
I was gonna say the same thing because on Tuesday, we were sitting and eating pozole, I believe, and there was a comment made by Ireri and saying like everything's very fresh here. I'm like just looking like, because we take it for granted, right? We take for granted that we have access to vegetables, that we have access, well, some of us have access to stuff. But that we live in ag land. We take that for granted. And you are doing an amazing job. I think people don't realize how much you are trying. Our school district is not only providing meals that are culturally competent for our community, that we, our kids like, stuff like that, but we're also conscious about where we purchase things, and taking care of that is huge. And I don't think that we talk enough about it, and we should put more emphasis to it, because it does matter. It does matter. It matters into our local economy. It matters into our local ag. It matters, and our students should be aware of what comes with you providing that meal, that meal doesn't come from the sky and it's like there. And so I think that your department always does an amazing job. So thank you so much for everything you do and for all the staff at your department. This is an item to approve.
Well, keep it going.
You want to go?
Let's just go, Sandra. Let's go.
No, I will back you up. Let's do it.
All right, well, I'm going to approve this National School Lunch Week for especially National Farm to School Month. So thank you.
All right, a second.
I second.
All right, approve first by Trustee Chavarria, second by Ruiz. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? All right, motion carries. Moving on to information first read on AP Spanish literature.
Good evening. So thank you, board, for this opportunity to come and share with you some exciting news that we have in our AP Spanish literature, which is a book that has been being piloted this year. So I'm Kimberly McCulloch, Director of Teaching and Learning, and I'm here with my awesome, amazing teaching and learning team members.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Turkey community. I'm Sandra Cuevas. I'm the coordinator of multilingual programs.
Buenas tardes. I'm Karen Tostado, a multilingual learner, teacher on special assignment.
And folklorical, amazing club interactive. So tonight we're going to talk about the AP Spanish Literature and Culture pilot and adoption process. And this is up for discussion and questions. And we wanted to let you know where we're at in that process. So as we know, one of the most important things that we can do as a district is ensure that our students have a guaranteed and viable curriculum. And so making sure that in every classes, teachers have a textbook that they can use that is aligned with the standards and meets the needs of our students. And we know the needs of our students changes. And so tonight we're going to be talking about that textbook that we found and share the recommendations from the teachers and also share some of the features that it has. And so this is for the AP Spanish Lit, which is our new, when Pat and I did our college and career presentation, we talked about the new pilot course that we're doing this year. And this is the textbook that we are looking at for that. And I will now turn it over to Fonda.
I think you skipped me. Is it like that? Yeah. I thought it was that one. Okay. So we did have some members as part of the committee. That's usually part of the process of when we start a pilot process. We form a committee. We had Mr. Mendicuti, who is the teacher who's teaching the AP Spanish literature class. We had my myself, and then we had Ms. Tostado as a multilingual TOSAS. And as much as the other Spanish, the other world language teachers they're not teaching this course, but they still were part of the review of the curriculum. And so the purpose of the committee was to find a curriculum that would meet the needs of our high school North County students that also had the standards of the ACPL and the California World Language Standards. And to be able to provide the pathway to earn the California State Seal of Biliteracy, which is also the goal of our biliteracy pathway. And so the committee, there is a process where they are forming questions they ask the publisher that they want to have as part of their curriculum. They do evaluation forms so that they can evaluate the curriculum. And then they focus on 3 priority standards. Pilots are usually really quick, so it's not like they have the whole year to pilot the curriculum. And then they make a recommendation to our board. And here is our timeline. Just like Ms. McCulloch said, this adoption started kind of late last spring. If you look at the timeline, it wasn't until May. Students requested this course. There was enough students that requested this course so that it did get approved. And then a teacher was assigned, the teacher being Mr. Mendicuti. Once it was decided that we were going to be teaching this course, it was determined that a curriculum was needed because there was not a curriculum for this course. This course had been taught, but many, many years ago. So the curriculum that was used was not appropriate, and I don't even think it was available anymore. Mr. Mendicuti did go visit some classes at Salinas High School, just to be able to see what curriculum was being used. And then the Spanish curriculum pilot was established, with the team that I had mentioned earlier. Something that's not there, but we also did during that time before the school year was over, or right when the school year was over, we also were able to give Mr. Mendicuti some planning time during the summer, where he was able to already kind of look at the curriculum and start planning so that he would be prepared for his students. So in 2025, 2026, which is the school year, we moved forward with the pilot of the Antorcha curriculum. And so Mr. Mendicuti is using it currently. We also had a training at the beginning of the year, maybe 2 weeks in, and it included all the committee members, even though it was only Mr. Mendicuti who was teaching it, but we all decided to be part of that training. And so the Spanish department has moved forward with making the recommendation to adopt the Antorcha curriculum. And Ms. Tostado, she will tell you the components for students and the components that the teachers thought why this would be the best curriculum to move forward.
Thank you. Okay, and before I get into talking about what the curriculum looks like, I just want to say that as a Spanish teacher, we, the Spanish teachers, are so super excited to have this course, AP Spanish Literature. In the time that I have been a teacher here, we have not had the course offered, and so we are also super excited and to have it. And also, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Mendicuti, because as soon as we found out that it was happening, he jumped on it and he went to go learn more by visiting a high school in Salinas, and so that really got the vehicle going. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you all about why the students and the teachers really love this curriculum. It's called Antorcha. Again, it's for AP Spanish Literature and Culture. And so what we're seeing here are a few screenshots of the digital platform. This curriculum is offered in both print and digital. And one of the reasons why the students love this curriculum so much is because it's so easy to navigate. And so on the left side, you can see a screenshot of what the students see when they first log in. The units are on the left side. In the center, you see the textbook, which is exactly the same as what is printed. And then on the right side is their assignments. Each unit opens up with a preámbulo, which offers questions and scenarios for the students to connect with the text or the literature that they are about to read. The online platform, when students complete assignments online,
the platform will grade it automatically for them and it will give them instant feedback. So whether it is free response questions or multiple choice questions, it will give them some information about how they did right away, rather than having to wait for the teacher to grade it to know how they're doing, what they're doing well, or how they can improve. This system will give them that feedback right away. Gamified learning, there is a system with various types of games that students can use to review the text, to review literary devices, figurative language, and to really understand how to answer the questions that they will need to answer, both for the class assessments as well as the AP test. On the right side, we can see some screenshots of Scaffold. So one of the neatest features is the graphic organizers that it comes with. On this campus, we use Avid Notes or Cornell Notes, and this platform has a digital Cornell Notes that students can access and use to write out their notes as they are learning about the text. It also has a lot of, it provides sentence starters to support with that academic discourse, whether it is an oral conversation or something written. It provides students with those ideas of how to engage in discussion. It also has audio narrations. So the students are going to be reading a lot, and they have to analyze what they are reading. And oftentimes, just reading can be very tiring. And so students are able to click on that play button to listen, and it turns into kind of an audiobook. So they're able to both hear someone read it to them as they follow along as they're reading. Another important part of this class, it's not only a literature class, it is also a culture class. And so students have to understand the historical context of when the different pieces of literature were written. So what was going on in that country at that time. And this class, the AP test, goes back to literature from medieval times. So it's a lot of texts. It's 38 different texts that they have to be familiar with. And so this curriculum offers opportunities for students to look at authentic, there's a lot of art in it, so authentic art pieces, and helps them understand the connection between that art and the text. They also have video tutorials that help students understand what it is that they're focusing on in that specific unit, and who was the author and what was happening in that country at that time. There are also practice exams. So these exams are both to practice to prepare for the assessments in the class, as well as for the AP test that they will take in May. All right. Okay, so now we're going to look at teacher highlights. So on the left side, we can see the words pacing guide and lesson plans. So when a teacher is thinking about what they're going to teach throughout the year, the first thing we have to think about is pacing guide. I have this number of units. So in this case, 38 different texts that I have to teach the students. How am I going to get it done in 1 year? And so this curriculum offers samples of pacing guides. And then what we really liked, the lesson plans. It has daily lesson plans that will tell you and guide you on how to teach that specific text and what type of activities to include to ensure that all students are succeeding. This platform has an AI assistant for the teachers, and this is probably one of our favorite parts. This is something that the teachers can utilize to create more practice lessons. So for example, if they're learning about a specific literary device, and after having done what the regular text has included, if we feel that the students are still needing some more support, we can tell the system, okay, here's the page in the textbook, the topic in the textbook. I need more practice. This practice, I want it to be partner practice, or I want it to be something else that they're reading, or I want it to be based on definitions, whatever you want. You tell it, it will give it to you. And so we thought that was pretty neat. It will also support with differentiation. And so if we have some struggling readers that are encountering some high-level text in Spanish. Perhaps Spanish isn't their first language, and so now they're reading at a very high level. You can tell the system to give you versions of text in different lexile levels to support the student in understanding, and then use that to help them answer the questions that everyone needs to answer. Let's see, on the left side, you can see that box is a screenshot of what it looks like when the teacher is assigning an assignment in the online platform. And so there's a button that says differentiation. That's where you can create those groups. If I have 2 students who need more support, and then I have 3 students who they just need extra because they are rocking it, I can create those groups and I can tell the system to provide a different lexile level of the text to each student or to each group. You can also have the system grade the students on a slightly different proficiency level. So for example, you can have them assign it at the advanced level. You could do advanced low, advanced mid, advanced high. If you need a student to be graded on an intermediate level, you can do that as well. And you can also tell the system whether you want it to consider or not things like grammar, orthography, sentence structure. So if you want it to look at that, you can tell it to look at that. If you don't want it to look at that, then it will not look at that. And then another neat feature is the weekly resources. So the company One Way Education will email teachers on a weekly basis, extra resources. So besides what is already offered in the system every week, they are sending readers that are aligned to what is happening in the contemporary world. So a lot of current events, news, to keep the students up to date with what's going on. Yeah. And then lastly, the digital library is an infinite number of resources that can be found there. You can find cultural lessons, you can find videos, you can find, you can follow TikTokers and whatnot. Those are turned into lessons and they're very appealing to the students. And so, yeah, they have a digital library that is very fun to explore and very fun to bring resources into those lessons. Yeah. And hand it back over to Sandra.
And I can say my boyfriend's daughter is in Mr. Mendicuti's class using this curriculum, and she comes home and she just is super excited about what she is learning and making connections. So I see students engaged in it. So next steps, we will do the public viewing. It is a 30-day public viewing. So October 10th through November 10th. We actually already, Ms. Tostado already set up the curriculum here in our high school. So on the way out, if you'd like to look at it, it'll be there for the next month. It's also at our district office. And so there will be notification to the public to come view if they would like. And then after 30 days from the public viewing, after public viewing, we'll come back to our board and ask for adoption approval. If approved, then we would order the curriculum. We would provide training for our by the publisher and Dorchetti trainers, and then we would continue to do training for our Spanish department. I don't know if there are any questions.
Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. I don't need a mic, but can't. I'm going to open it up for any clarifying questions from the trustees. Questions? No? All right, go ahead. They
The
didn't have a
literature,
question.
you said it was medieval times? Or the text?
Yeah, it goes way back to medieval times. Yeah.
Oh, and it's a clarifying question for me where I want to know, like, is this like the region, is it just going to be from European Spain or?
It begins with only looking at Spanish literature, so Spain, yes, and then it will later in the further text, it will include some Latin American text as well.
Yeah, but still Latin American is still huge. Do we ever go to Mexican literature?
No, we would. I think there is a couple of short stories included from Mexican literature, but it's not heavily focused on. It's heavily focused on Spanish literature, Spain literature.
So, yeah, I'll wait for comments time. That was my clarifying question.
All right, any clarifying question?
Yeah, just to get clarification, you started the pilot in May. I understand, no?
So we moved forward with getting the course, approving the course.
Okay.
So that the pilot then started August.
So it just started in August.
It just started
So it's just a few months in.
Mhm.
And how many students are taking this right now?
Yeah, 26, 28.
Okay, just
So
one class.
it's one class.
One class.
It's one class right now.
What grade level?
It can be any grade level. It's usually a course that will. It can be any grade level. It's usually a course that comes after SLA 1 or SLA 2. But it's most of the students in that course tend to be 11th and 12th graders.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna open it up for any public comment. Zoom. All right, closing public comment, final comments or discussion, trustee Diaz?
Yeah, just thank you. I'm glad to see that you guys did research and are enthused by this. Excited that you guys are excited about it. That's it.
Awesome. Trustee Reese?
Yeah, I would just say that we want to see that you're following a process, right? And the process is transparent and that it involves the right people, the right stakeholders. And this is actually pretty exciting, you know, gamification, the use of AI. This is the best possible use of technology, right? To complement a teacher that can lead, but then use these tools to assist students and hopefully increased comprehension, increased understanding and interest, because this is the way they're taking in information. So thank you for this process, and it looks pretty exciting. I'm assuming this is how curriculum is trending to be very interactive. Yes, so thank you.
All right, trustee DeMarco?
No, this is obviously, I appreciate the hard work you're doing. The idea that we're bringing literature other than just what's in English text. But also I'm hoping that we find a way where it evolves because it's still European colonialist time frame. And a chance to, I can say this from being, you know, my mom being from Mexico, I wouldn't relate to anything written at that time because it's not my background. I hope we evolve to, I'm ashamed to say this, but I didn't even realize that we had Mexican literature until my 40s. And it's like, I'm hoping we get a chance to evolve in this course where we can add more literature from our backyard, our neighboring country, where a lot of our demographic comes from. That you don't have to be from Europe to be a world-renowned author. You can also be from here.
All right. Trustee Chevalier?
Just great presentation. I mean, the way you showed the slides, you took us like through a tutorial there. It was good. It really gave us a depth of understanding of how it works. And I just love to see that that's evolving right now with our generation and our kids today. I really like the way that it also can, you can create a style of learning for different, you can capture that in the different ways of our students, because everybody learns differently, right? And everybody's at different levels. So I really like when you highlighted that piece of it to be able to capture everybody's, you know, wherever they're at that stage. So thank you. Great presentation.
Now I would say, seems like a pretty robust textbook and curriculum. And like you mentioned, Trustee Reese, it looks like that's the way that it's going to go now from now on. I was pretty shocked and impressed about the AI and helping not only the student, but helping the teacher with a better way of it, like teaching it and understanding it. But I agree that we should find something that it's more relatable also for our students, because that was the complaint from my kids all the time, not only from their AP class or from their Spanish language arts class, but also from their English, that the reading that they were doing did not relate to nothing of them. And they were like, I don't care about, those were their comments. I don't care about the Europe, or I don't care about this. I want to know like writing or reading from and writing from places that I feel familiar with. So hopefully we can maybe find any substitute material that can also help us with our students feeling a little bit more connected to what they're learning and they're reading as well. So I appreciate the hard work that was done and the dedication. And I'm glad that now there's a textbook that is pretty robust, that it's being put out there. All right, this is just an informational item.
Informational.
We'll see you in 30 days. All right, thank you. All right. Moving on to our next item, approve purchase of view boards. The exciting one.
Well, nobody's probably gonna say anything on the Zoom, but they do. Okay, good evening, board. I'm always presenting last, but I think because I gotta be here, so makes sense. So I am here to talk to you tonight about purchasing view boards district-wide, modernizing our instruction with interactive displays. So one of the reasons why we, need to look to the future to replace our technology is because what we're currently using is kind of obsolete. So you can see there is a picture of a class at the middle school where it's kind of crooked, it's kind of small, it's hard to see. And in many cases, I think someone mentioned earlier, the projector is just projecting onto the whiteboard and they don't even have a screen to pull down. So outdated infrastructure, our projectors, a lot of them are end of life, which means we have lots of high recurring costs, having to clean filters, replace bulbs, or buy new projectors. So there's a lot of maintenance that goes into keeping them working. There's inconsistent performance with glare, dimness. Oftentimes teachers have to turn their lights off in order to have a better view of what's happening on the projector. And all of those issues can impact instruction, can take away time from instruction. And we want to have the least amount of time taken away from instruction in our classroom. They also have minimal interactivity, as we heard earlier from Ms. Arista at Echo Valley. With students interacting with the board, students can't necessarily interact with the projector. So one reason, several reasons that we want to move forward with this project is so that we can replace some of this obsolete technology that we have. I just wanted to point out some help desk data. So here, I did just some research looking up projectors in our help desk. And I just started from when I started, right? So from January 1st to June 30th, the last of the school year, there was 197 tickets entered that had something to do with the projector issue. From August 1st to October 1st, which was when I looked at it last from this year, there's been 79 tickets. So some of these keywords include things like projector, connection issue, new bulb, connectivity, blurry, glitchy, replacement, ignited, right? Smoking. So, I just wanted to highlight that yes, we spend a lot of our time going into classrooms and replacing bulbs, blowing out filters, helping with the blurriness. And that takes up a lot of our time. And I think the tech team would like to maybe be doing a few more things. And not only that, when we have to go do that, we know that instruction is interrupted now because the teacher can't get to their projector. They can't project on the screen. They can't use their document camera. So it's interruption, right? It's time for us and interruption for them. And when these tickets come in, we usually try to get to them, right? They're critical. And then another thing is the projectors that we have been purchasing have been back ordered due to tariffs. Like I bring up tariffs every time I come up here because it's technology related. So we ordered them in the beginning of the school year when I knew that we were going to need more when the budget came. And then I kept getting from the vendor, next week, 2 more weeks, next week. And so we have a number of tickets open where teachers don't have a projector because we can't get this particular one in. And the next available one is like almost triple the price. So we're kind of like, do we spend the money on a more expensive projector or do we modernize? So that brings me to information about money, right? So projector, the Epson, the base model that we've been purchasing is $725 for that base model, which is a small little projector that sits on a desk in a classroom that they project to. A replacement bulb is $140. We replace 1 to 2 bulbs in a projector per year. It really depends on how well the projector is taken care of. If it's left on all the time and it gets hot, then it'll burn out faster. It has so many hours of light in the bulb. If a teacher leaves
papers on top of it and it doesn't get the same amount of air circulation, it will blow. So average is about 2 a year. So over 5 years, you're looking at $3,525 for replacing projectors and buying bulbs. On the other side, you have a view board, the 75-inch view board, which some of you have maybe seen. There's one up there that we've been using for the committees. It is on a stand so that teachers can move it around in their classroom. It's a one-time $2,012 purchase. There is a license, which is $95 for five years licensing. So over 5 years, there's $2,000. So there's a little bit of savings there just right off the bat buying the technology. Then when we think about that help desk data, the labor and maintenance, if we're talking about the time that we spend replacing bulbs, trying to get it so it's not blurry, moving it so they can get a bigger view on the screen, blowing out the filter, all the different things that we do, that is over 5 years, about $350 that we're spending. It's probably 10 hours on average that we spend to replace a bulb, to drive to a site, to troubleshoot, blow a filter. For a view board, you don't have a filter, you don't have a bulb, you don't have blurriness issues. So maybe about 3 hours in my experience. I've rolled out view boards in 2 different districts. Once a teacher gets used to it, there's not really a lot of troubleshooting that you're needing to do to get it to work, right? They can cast to it, they can plug into it, and it's just working, it's brighter. So over 5 years, that's $105 in time. And then on top of that, when we think about the learning loss, it's like priceless, the time that we're losing when a teacher can't project what they need to project to get to their students, or when they're trying to figure out a workaround. And so those are just some cost savings, because I want to think about 21st century and moving forward, but I also want to think about budget and the impact that that is going to have, right? And the unexpected future. So the ask, I feel like it sounds like Shark Tank. The ask is to order 215 view boards, which would be a view board in every classroom across the district, for $493,000, to buy 5 full days of training sessions at a little over $16,000. And then I included in there the cost of subs. So to do half-day pullouts, which I'm going to get into what that looks like, is about $23,000. To fund this, we're looking at using 24-25 rollover funds. So that's general fund money that's rolling over from last year's school year that was not spent. And using rollover funds for something like this is the perfect reason to use it, because it's a one-time purchase, right? We have to think about that $95 every 5 years, but that's much more manageable than $300 in bulbs and the time it takes. And then I know that $500,000 or 493 is over the threshold for having to go out to public bid, but there is an Irvine piggyback contract. So we can, instead of having to go out to bid and take a lot longer to purchase these, we can use that Irvine piggyback contract for our procurement, which ensures that we are having the best possible price. And then we're just jumping on a procurement that already happened. So that will save us time so that we can get projection into these classrooms that haven't had anything, or that don't have anything currently. So view boards are really, I want to talk about like the excitement. I didn't expect Echo Valley to show up. That I didn't plan that. I didn't know that they were going to do that. I did not. But there has been like a lot of excitement and engagement with the teachers that have them. And part of that pilot is those teachers are letting other teachers put them in their classroom for an amount of time and use them with their students, or they're going in and looking at how other teachers are using them. So that would also relates to our LCAP goal number 1, rigorous and equitable instruction. The EdTech leaders at each site, there's 2 at each site, there's 3 at the high school. But they were the ones that have these devices to pilot, because they were the ones that had to attend a full day training over summer with the ViewSonic trainers. So they got their full day training so that they could showcase things in staff meetings, showcase things to PLCs, and let the board move around campus for other people to give it a try. And that pilot has generated a lot of feedback. A lot of people asking, when am I going to get my projector? Or when am I going to get my view board? If my projector breaks, can I get a view board? Like, how can I get this into my classroom? So the excitement is there. People are excited. Change is also hard, right? So we know that we want to provide training, which we're going to go over, but it's exciting. And lots of things are happening in technology that are exciting here. So educational impact, as you can see in those pictures, they're touch screen. Multi-users can go up and touch it at the same time. So you can see there on that far picture with those 3 elementary students, they're annotating on Post-it notes that are on the board. So they can all 3 be up there at the same time writing on the board. There is better quality, right? It's a 4K LED display, so it eliminates that issue of shadow and glare where teachers don't have to turn their classroom lights off in order to have the best projection. And they integrate seamlessly with a lot of the applications that we already use, like Google Classroom. Our special education curriculum has an application that can be put onto the view board that they can use in their classrooms. Equitable and rigorous instruction is something that a view board can help us, along with save time and money in the long run. So I thought I had asked the ed techs to send me some pictures. So you can see the one is a teacher annotating in the front of the room, and then the other 2 is a secondary and elementary students annotating on the board. So what does this deployment look like? The goal is to purchase these 215 boards and the mounting hardware, the stand, and that we will work with the company they will store them for us, and then we can get them shipped in manageable batches of 12 to 25 per unit. We know that we have a storage problem. All of our warehouses are full, and so we can't get 215 at once. So I've already talked with the vendor about what does that look like? Can you send them as we are ready to build them? Because that's another way that we save money is the IT team, we build them on the stand, right? We don't pay someone else to build them, we build them. So in order to do that, we can't overwhelm the IT team, right? But we want to get these into the hands of people. So what that would look like is a 6-month kind of prioritization and deployment. And so we would structure that by grade level and department teams so we can build centers for expertise and support. So the training will happen in groups of grade level and groups of department at the secondary. So they're going to get that training with peers across the district. So then they can have those collaborative conversations about maybe, oh, I can use this lesson for that, or it would be really cool to do this. And I think sometimes we don't have that opportunity to meet, the teachers at Prunedale to go meet with the teachers at Elkhorn, right? The 3rd grade teachers or whoever to come together. So we do want to invest in our people, highlighting LCAP goal number 4, which is what Echo Valley brought up, right? Staff engagement and connectedness. We want to have a base training for all. So like I was saying, 3 hours for each staff member by a ViewSonic trainer. So that ensures the minimum competency to use the board. So they have an understanding of the digital whiteboard, how to cast to it, how to use the annotation tools, how to pull their stuff from the cloud, from their Google Drive onto the board before we deploy it into the classroom so that we can have a higher adoption, right? If you just put technology in a classroom without training, you're going to have less adoption, more frustration, and that's something that we want to avoid. Because those ed techs receive that full day training, they are also on the site for, on demand and peer support. The IT team was also at that training, so they'll also be able to go out and help people as we deploy these. Let's see. So our goal is to move technology from a mere substitution like the projector is to a real redefinition of instruction. So I don't know if you've ever heard of the SAMR model, but you can see there in the image that it talks about how we can use technology as a substitution, right? A view board is a substitution for a projector, but we can also redefine how we use technology in the classroom with the view board by those virtual field trips, by those virtual manipulatives, by having students share, right? Students can send their screen to the board, the teacher has to approve it, but then, a teacher can say, you're doing really great on this. Can you share with the class how you're doing it? And then their Chromebook screen is on the screen. So it really can help us make our classrooms more engaging, change the way that we're thinking about how we're using technology. So the professional development planning that I was talking about is going to look something like this, where we pull out grade level teams for half days. So for example, we pull out the 5th grade and 6th grade teachers in the morning, and then in the afternoon, we pull out the 3rd and 4th grade teachers. And then on the next day, we pull all the ELA teachers and then all the math teachers. So I worked with principals, with ed services to get feedback, and then also with HR to say what is manageable to pull out, like how many subs can we get, what is manageable for a pull out, because if we're pulling out 26 teachers, we need 26 subs. So it would be a phased deployment over the next 6 months. And hopefully after this is approved, I'll be able to work with vendors and staff to secure dates so that we can start planning for that. So my recommendation here is that we invest in these view boards, not only because it is fiscally sound, it saves us money from the projectors, but it invests in our staff and our students. I just put on there lots of different districts around us that all have ViewSonic view boards. So also if we get staff from other school districts, they're probably already going to be familiar with this technology because it's the same technology that's been adopted by the high school district, NMCUSD, LaSalle, Santa Cruz. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I will start with any clarifying questions. Trustee Diaz?
Yeah, thank you for that. It's exciting. Are all classrooms getting them? Even like, because I wonder if like just, I don't know, just like maybe like kindergarten, they're not too young. Like, okay, that's good to
Miss
hear.
Cohn that was here earlier is kindergarten. I know she
Oh,
didn't
okay.
speak much of it, but
That's awesome. That's awesome. And did this my last question? Did we buy a couple extra just in case there's like an actual accident, like maybe one broke or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, that
Trustee
was my
Reed?
question. How long do these last? Because you're going to have to replenish.
yeah, I mean, these can last up to 8 to 10 years.
Okay.
I've yet to see a student successfully break one or a
Yeah,
staff member.
you know, maybe the bulb goes or whatever. Something happens.
Yeah.
Not about
Like
the student
me?
breaking them, but just, yeah. And then the other question is, would it be possible to accelerate? Because 6 months is a long amount of time, and I really do think we've handicapped teachers by
Yeah.
not having technology in the classroom. So, I mean, this is so exciting to really bring this technology, because it's an old technology.
Mhm.
They used to be a lot more money. They've gotten
Cheaper.
much
Less
cheaper.
expensive.
So if you could accelerate it, would it overwhelm your staff?
My one concern is that we have a Wi-Fi upgrade project that was happening before I started. And so
Okay.
that project has to be completed over like the Thanksgiving and the winter break.
Okay.
And so I kind of need all hands to get that project done. So I guess it really depends on how quickly we can start that. We're going to start that project after schools just because we can pull an access point down and replace it. So it depends on how quickly we can get through that project before we can start this project. And then storage is kind of the big thing.
Yeah, and you mentioned that it's cheaper for us to build it, but
Yeah.
what would it mean if they built it? What would be that cost? Could it increase your capacity? Could it increase your delivery of these into the classroom?
Yeah, I can ask how much it would cost to do that. And maybe if there's any downtime that facilities could help.
Well, I think it's just something to consider,
Yeah.
you know, if it would help with the deployment of the
Mhm.
project. And I guess the other question I had is, I know you said all classrooms. Does this include continuation? I know
Central
that's
Day
an
and
old term, but
even IS is going to get.
I was
Yep.
blinking. I'm all, okay, thank you.
Makes sense.
Okay, great. I know, it's really old.
All right.
Thank you.
Trustee DeMarco?
No, I just appreciate that you're willing to take something complex like this and make it easy for me to understand. But thank you for, because you can get really techy and stuff like that, and just so that's something I keep trying to push with everybody that talks to us out here. It's like, can you dumb it down for us, please? Do the little red bouncy ball so I can follow along and so I can understand what's going on. And I appreciate that you're willing. You did that, and it's exciting because I said when I did math here, the projector was so cumbersome. I just burned through dry erase makers because it was just faster and easier to do that than setting up my projector.
Yeah.
So if this is able to alleviate that problem, it's exciting to see what happens.
Right. Trustee Chavarria?
No, great presentation. I mean, you obviously capture a lot of great information there and had that opportunity to see it firsthand. It's like, wow, very impressed. So you guys answered some of the questions, but the warranty, is there a warranty though with it?
There's a warranty.
What's that warranty?
There's a 2-year warranty on
2-year
like
warranty?
manufactured, like internal damage.
And that's it? That's all they give you?
Yeah, I've never seen, like in a previous deployment, I've had like where you initially install it and it won't turn on, it has some glitches, and then you try to reboot it with a USB and it won't. And that's the only thing I've seen, and I haven't heard from NMCUSD, who's had them for quite some time, and the high school district, any.
Great, because I was going to see if you did that
Mhm.
research on
Yeah.
that, you know, see how long I don't know how long they've had it, but to be able to kind of say, hey, how long does it last? Have you had any challenges or any issues that maybe we need to address? So thank you for
think
doing that
about, like your
research.
TV, right? Like
What's
I've
that?
had- if you think about your TV, I've had my TV for 10 years in one of my rooms.
Depends on what brand.
It's time to upgrade.
20 years.
Depends on what brand, you know, I've gone through some TVs, but, and the logistic plan that you were just mentioning, I had that down too as a question. And, so thank you for answering that, just to see if there's any way we can change that, you know, with support resources.
Yeah.
You know, to expedite it, because I could see everybody's biting from the bits to get this in the classroom. So thank you.
All right. I don't have any clarifying questions. I'm going to open it up for any public comment. Welcome.
I won't keep us too long, but one of the main things I get complaints about from teaching staff is the projectors. And several reasons as you've seen, whether it's the actual quality of the projector, but also think of a kindergarten classroom with a cart in the middle of the classroom and then a wire running underneath the cart where the kids sit to an outlet. So it's sounding pretty positive that these can get approved, but I would really, really highly recommend and appreciate it. I'm not super far removed from the classroom. Actually, I've taught as early as 5 years ago in a neighboring district, and we had these view boards. So I can say from experience that they're extremely engaging for all the students. So also I've ran around the campus looking for projectors when the other projectors have failed, and tried to, do presentations without projectors. So would really, really appreciate if you guys do consider and approve this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Zoom? All right, closing public comment. Any other final comments, Trustee Diaz?
Thank you for being so proactive when you started. I was on the interview panel with you, and I could tell that you're going to bring us into the 21st century. But I motion to approve when ready.
All right, Trustee Reese?
Yeah, just thank you. We really appreciate your enthusiasm and your vision. And I'm very grateful you came to our district. Very happy to have you here. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Trustee DeMarco?
Thank you.
Trustee Chavarria?
Yes, you've been doing a phenomenal job. So I really appreciate that. And I just want to also say that, this money is being very well spent.
Yeah.
This is the type of investments we need to make. And, seeing that you stated where it's coming from, the rollover, that's where we need it to go, because it affects everybody long term. So we needed to do this a while back. So thank you.
And thank you for putting such a great presentation that touches all the points of why we needed it, and also all the information that comes with it. So I appreciate your presentations are the last, but they're really well presented in a way that at least I as a board member can understand from beginning to end. Okay, why does it matter? How does it impact not only our students, but everyone? And then what's the long-term benefit? I think that that's something that very few of us are thinking. The long-term benefit of this is a saving, but it's also a benefit for our students. And our students are eager as well with new technology that they might see somewhere else. So I appreciate that. This is an item to approve, and I move to approve this item. Okay.
Rick's motion, and do you want a second?
Thank you, Martha. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you. All right, last item, board request for next meeting, and I'll start with Trustee Diaz.
Yeah. Information / requests, not agenda items. I was curious if we could, at least for me, I don't know if other trustees are interested, but the usual site visits and the schedule that we usually have per semester. And also someone suggested, having an updated org chart for us. And that's it.
Awesome. All right. Trustee Diaz, Trustee Reese.
Well, Martha, you touched on some of the projects in the front that aren't going to be happening. And the one I'm concerned about is I know this is not the technical term, but the guard shack. As winter comes, where are we going to have our security guards, safety? Where will they be housed as people are coming into the campus? In November, December, it starts to get cold.
So your request is information on
Yes.
the
Is there
plan
a
for the
plan?
front.
Is there
Okay.
for an interim plan?
All right.
Yes.
Anything else?
That's all. Thank you.
Trustee DeMarco? Trustee Chavarria?
Yep.
And none.
From me?
All right. Meeting adjourned at 8:24.